All right. Welcome back to Fat Stacks. The boys are back. Back to the grassroots. Season 2, episode 1. Back to the grassroots of college basketball. And let me tell you something. There's nothing that brings the boys together like some college basketball. Some people like football. Some people like college football. Some people like just any baseball. We got some baseball guys on here. But nothing brings us four together like some college basketball. All right. And so we're going to talk about college basketball. And first thing I want you to do, though, when you watch this video, you say, man, I just love seeing Tyler's hoodie mellow ready to go on the podcast. Let's hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for the hoodie mellow. Okay. Let's hit it. Coming back better than ever. We got some ideas cooking. We're going to be more consistent, more with it. Guys, welcome back. Always good to talk college ball with you guys. How you guys doing? How you guys been?
Not too
Good to be
bad.
back,
I
man.
mean, college basketball's treating me well so far this year.
Good. So talking about college basketball, we all been following it. I know a lot of us have not been betting it, but we've been following it. I just got my toes wet. We're down in the trenches. We're in the grind of college basketball season, getting ready for conference tournament play. But I want to know your guys' top 5 right now. And so we're going to start off with number 5. Aaron, you got number 5 ready to rip for us?
I have number 5 ready to rip for you guys.
Go for it.
All right. So as we speak, Tennessee lost to Florida. They were number 2. They dropped down to number 5 for me. They shot terribly. Maybe the worst shooting performance from a Tennessee team in the past 20 years. They shot 27% from the field, 19 for 68, shot 20% for 3, 5 for 25. So they're a good team, but if they're not hitting that 3 ball, I mean, it's a little concerning. So this is a game where Ziegler shoots 6 for 19. Florida's a good defensive team. So, and also Tennessee fouled like crazy. I mean, I think they had 10 more fouls than Florida did. So, I have Tennessee at 5. They dropped down just a little bit for me. They were 2, now they're 5. So, tough one against Florida, but Florida, they could make a little run in the tournament. That Castleton's pretty good defender down low. It'd be fun to see Florida versus Purdue in an early round, just to see those two match up, Edey and Castleton. But yeah, Tennessee drops down a few for me. They're at the number 5 spot.
Fisher, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got the Vols at 5. Like Aaron said, Castleton is one of the better defenders. And, we were talking about it a few days ago where these college teams, you don't have to have a dominant big, to win the title in college or pro anymore. But it certainly helps when you have, a good big. And right now, our European who's 7'1", Euros Plavsic, he didn't really hold his own last night against Castleton. And a lot of teams were double teaming Castleton early on in the year. The Vols decided not to do that. And so defensively, I still think this is a great team, but so many cold stretches offensively. I think that's going to hurt the Vols in the tournament. So they dropped to number 5 for me as well.
Garrett?
I got my Kansas Jayhawks at 5. I have to throw a Big 12 team in there, and I think that they are hands down the best one. I mean, they are
Hands
they
down.
have the best. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. Who you got? Are you Kansas State?
Maybe. I mean, there's a few.
It's like 6 teams.
Okay, they beat Kansas State by 12 at home. They lost to Kansas State by 2 at Kansas State. If you're going to argue Texas, you can argue Texas, but the Chris Beard situation. That's not like, I still think that plays a factor. They're not in my top 5, and TCU is good, but I don't know. I got the Jayhawks. I think they're. I think overall they are.
I think TCU is. I think TCU is the best team in the Big 12.
You could argue TCU. I can make that argument. I think it's TCU and Kansas would be my top 2 in that conference. But someone in this conference has to be in your top 5. I don't care what you say. Someone in this conference has to be in your top 5. It's the best conference in basketball.
I think it's okay to have nobody in the top 5, but 8 teams in the top 15. I mean, you could throw Baylor in there, Iowa State. You could throw. I mean, there's 7 teams right there we've named. So that doesn't take anything away from the conference. This is the deepest conference, but as far as I think the most elite teams, you'll have to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't think they're in the top 5 of elite teams, but I do think they're crammed in the 6 to like 20 spot, like 6 or 8 of them. I think there's a lot of teams. I don't think there's a team like Kansas last year, or even teams like Kansas in the past that can win. I mean, obviously they can win, but I don't think you're like this team is like going for the national championship. I think TCU is up there, probably as the best team for me personally. But I think viewers at home, you kind of would gauge our reaction. You saw our reaction when Garrett said Kansas at 5. So, all
The
know.
reason, and I'll also add this, and a lot of people probably don't pay attention to this, but I'll just dive into this real quick. Grady Dick's a dog. Okay. And you could argue Jalen Wilson is top 3 in player of the year voting so far this year. Like, in all honesty, he's top 3. That's what everyone has. Honestly, most people have him at 2. And DeJuan Harris is arguably one of the most consistent point guards in the league. Like, guy has averages above a 3 assist to turnover ratio, which is crazy anymore. That you don't see that in the NCAA anymore. And the one thing that really I like about this team is the fact that we now have a big man coming off the bench in Ejiofor, and I am not Ejiofor, Uday, or it's Ernest Uday. This man's dog. Like, he's gonna be all right. He's a rookie, little young, rookie, freshman, don't matter, little young, but he's 6'11", 250. If he gets his feet, if he gets this thing going, man, this team's dangerous in the tournament. That's all I gotta say.
What's that guy's name?
Uday.
Uday.
He hasn't started a game because we started KJ Adams, which is also just jumps out the gym. But we have 2 guys that can play down low.
All right, I got Tennessee at number 5 for all the reasons Aaron and Fisher said. Anyway, number 4, Aaron.
Let's do Snake. So now you go.
Oh, I go. Okay, let's do a Snake. I'll go. I got Alabama at number 4. I know they just lost, but I mean they just freaking ran Vanderbilt out of the gym, and I know Vanderbilt's not great as a team, but they freaking ran Vanderbilt out of the gym. I think they're favored. Alabama's favored by like 15 or 20, and they ended up beating it by like 60. I mean, it was like 101 to 40. I mean, it was ridiculous. So I think Alabama, when they're playing out their best, they have a chance. They have as good a team as anybody to win the national title. They can shoot, they can run the ball, they play okay defense, and their pace is just so fast that, again, we've talked about big man. I think Zach Edey is going to have a tough time if they play in the tournament to run up and down that floor with Alabama. I mean, I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. You could take Zach Edey out of the game, or take a big man out of the game if you just run that ball and push the pace a little bit. So I think that's why that'll bring Alabama to make a big run. I love Nate Oates. Have Alabama to make a big run in the NCAA tournament. I think a lot of teams in the SEC have a chance to make a big run, but Alabama is probably at the top for me. So I got Alabama at 4.
I'm kind of with you guys. I had Tennessee at 4, so 1 up compared to you guys, but nothing really much more to add than what you guys said. It's one bad night.
Yeah, I've got Houston at number 4. I'll give them their respect right now, but they better be careful. One more loss, and they might be out of the discussion for the 1 seed. They took a bad loss to Temple a few weeks ago. Their only other loss on the season was Alabama, which you guys just mentioned. Great team, run and gun. And Houston, they also beat Virginia earlier in the year. Virginia was 2 at the time. I think they're 7th right now. They're in the top 10. So this is a team you still have to respect despite the weak schedule, and they could definitely make some noise in the tournament.
Yeah, I got Arizona. Well coached, a lot of veteran leadership on that team. They can play big, they can play small. They got that, is it Ballo underneath, big boy, 7 foot. So if they have to match up big, they got him. They have shooting all over the court. Like I said, veteran leadership. They've been there. So I really like how this team's put together. Veteran guards, bigs that can match up if you need to go big, smalls if you need to go small. So I got Arizona at 4.
Number 3, Aaron.
At number 3, I've got Houston. Houston, you know, I figured they'd go deeper than they did last year. When did they get knocked out? They got knocked out. Elite Eight. Yeah, I had them. I think Final Four or championship game, but they have that, like just like Arizona, they have that leadership. A lot of returning guys, but at the same time, you have Is it Calvin Simpson? Is that his name? Calvin Simpson.
Calvin Sampson, maybe.
Sampson?
Yeah. He's manning the helm. He's been there for a while. He knows what to do. Well-coached program. But just like Arizona, you got that veteran leadership who's been there, so they're hungry. And I think that, but I think that, like Fisher said, one more loss, and I don't think they can really buy first overall seeding. So they need to play pretty sharp from here on out. And if you look at their schedule, Wichita State, Temple, who they lost to, but they'll rebound. Tulsa, St. Mary's, Memphis. So some decent competition, but nothing really that stands out. So I think they'll be a 1 seed going into the tournament. I have them at 3.
Yeah, I've got Alabama at number 3. Well-coached team, a lot of talent across the floor, like Tyler mentioned. You know, Brandon Miller, he's almost averaging 20 a game. He leads this team. And you look at the quality wins that they have, even from the start of the season. I mean, they played Michigan State pretty early on at Michigan State and won by double digits there. You know, they beat North Carolina. They beat Houston. And North Carolina and Houston were both number 1s at the time. Lost to Gonzaga. So they're only 3 losses. 2 of them were to ranked teams. The other one's Oklahoma. Then they just blew Vanderbilt out of the water. I mean, 60 points in a conference game. I mean, that just doesn't really happen. And Vanderbilt's not good, but, you know, they've had worse teams before there. So this is a really impressive team. They can beat anybody, and they've got some tough tests ahead of them. They got to travel to Auburn. They got to travel to Knoxville. They've got LSU on Saturday. So a tough road ahead, but right now they're at number 3.
Do you think they have the toughest schedule this year?
I think you can make that case for a few SEC teams. I mean, I think the SEC's got a pretty good conference, and then most of those teams schedule pretty well non-conference. So there's a handful, you could say. I mean, they've had to play Gonzaga, North Carolina,
Houston,
Michigan State. I mean, UConn. That's all non-conference.
Yeah, that's tough.
Garrett.
Go Pro.
I have Alabama as my 3. The only thing that scares me about this team is a team that gets up and down like they do doesn't tend to fare very well in the tournament, because if they just have one bad night. However, I mean, Brandon Miller's a dog. I mean, he's definitely the best freshman in the nation. Probably gonna be one of the top 5 draft picks in the NBA this year. But I don't have anything really much else to say. I have them at 3.
I got Houston at number 3. I thought about putting Alabama in this spot, but Houston, again, like you guys said, we've all said it. They lose another game, they're probably out of the 1 seed conversation for the tournament. But I'll just piggyback on what you guys said. You know, the coach, Calvin Sampson, he is doing real good there. Last year, again, I thought they'd make a little bit deeper of a run. But he's, you know, man of the helm, like Aaron said, and and they always have fast, long, athletic guys there. It seems like they're pretty deep usually, with guys that can just spread the floor and kind of play that run and gun game, but also can play kind of a half court style game as well because of how big and athletic they are. And so I really like Houston number 3, but I do having Alabama over them. So I probably, if I did the ranking, I probably would have Alabama over them. Looking at Fisher pointed out Alabama's schedule, I probably would have Alabama at 3, Houston at 4. But number 2, I got Arizona. Again, like Aaron said, they can go big, they can go small, they can play with anybody. In the country, they got a great coach, one of the best coaches in the country. And so I think that Arizona, if you're looking at teams to maybe, jump and get in that 1 seed conversation with Tennessee losing, and if maybe Houston losing, maybe slip in a little bit. I think Arizona is definitely in that conversation for that, maybe not the 1 overall, but the 2-3 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, and getting a 1 seed and, kind of controlling their destiny in the tournament.
Yeah, number 2, I have the Purdue Boilermakers. I mean, Zach Edey might be hands down the most unguardable guy in the nation, but I don't know. I just don't like this team because it's all based on one player. If Zach Edey gets in foul trouble, they're not that great. Like that's the problem, and that they're very average at best around after that. So that's why I got these guys at 2.
I don't. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Arizona at number 2 for me. If you look at their remaining schedule, and they play Oregon as we're talking tonight, but after that they've got 8 more games, and only one of those teams is ranked. It's UCLA, and it's on March 4th. So for the next month, Arizona plays 0 ranked teams. So this is a chance for them to really go on a run, like you guys said, try to lock up a number 1 seed in a not super loaded Pac-12 conference. And I've got them at number 2. They can play with anybody. They've got some great quality wins. They beat Tennessee earlier this year. The week before that, they traveled to Indiana, beat the Hoosiers. So a lot of good quad 1 wins in the non-conference, and I got them at number 2.
Yeah, I got Alabama at 2 for the reasons that you guys said, and because they beat Houston. I mean, they're Houston and Alabama, I feel like, are right there neck and neck. Alabama's a lot better offensive team, and Houston's a lot better defensive team, in my opinion. So it'd be fun to see them match up again in the tournament, but I have Alabama edging out Houston just because of that 1 win. And then at number 1, I don't understand Garrett's reasoning behind it, but Purdue, I got Purdue at 1. I mean, they're first unanimous team this year to be number 1. And I guess, the voters don't know much, and all the coaches in the country don't know much either, because Garrett has them at number 2. But right now he's running away with it, National Player of the Year. I don't know how his game will translate to the NBA, but in college ball, if you're big and dominant like him, you're gonna get some people watching, and your team's gonna do pretty good. They got shooters around him. Matt Painter, pretty good coach. He's been around the game a while and been at Purdue for a while, but I wouldn't rank him in the top 20 of coaches in the nation, in my opinion. I think there's 20 better coaches than him, maybe more. But they got a lot of shooting around Edey. Edey's just dominant down low with his size. So I agree with the rest of the voters and coaches in the nation that Purdue is the unanimous number 1.
Yeah, they've got to be number 1 right now. I mean, they've lost 1 game by 1 point to the second best team in the Big Ten. And we look at a Rutgers team last year that, we talked about them a lot in February, right? I mean, they were knocking off great teams left and right. They're just a scrappy team. So, they've lost 1 game by 1 point. You got to put them number 1. Obviously, Zach Edey is the main attraction here, but you've got good guard play, like Aaron said, good shooters around the floor for Purdue. Even if you don't think they're going to go far in the tournament, if you think it says bust written all over them, maybe it does. But I think right now you have to put them at the top of your list.
So you guys,
The moment we're all waiting for. Let's go, Garrett.
I factor KenPom into a lot of my rankings just because KenPom is very good. And this is the only team top 10 in defense and offensive efficiency. And they are over 1 point in adjusted efficiency total better than any other team, and that is the Houston. That's just Houston. I mean, I don't know what to say. Kelvin Sampson, great guy, but this Houston team, just top to bottom. Marcus Sasser he's arguably the best two-way player in the league, like in the NCAA. And then you have Jamal Shed, and then you have Javier Francis, which I think could honestly, he's not. I wouldn't say he's great, but he will go up and bang with good old Edie. And I think if they played head to head, that they would just make this a running contest. And I think you wouldn't see Edie out there very much. And if you have Edie off the floor, this Houston team would beat this team by 20 in a regular game without Edie playing. So that's just how it would go. So I got Houston in this one. I mean, I just got Houston at number one. I think they're the most complete team overall.
Does Houston cover minus 12.5 tonight against Wichita State at Wichita State?
Listen, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that they're going.
No, I just want your opinion. Putting bets in right now.
See, I don't. This late in the season, any spread above 10, I don't touch. It's my number one rule. I don't touch a spread above 10. It doesn't matter if it's Monmouth, which has won 2 games, going up against Purdue, and they don't have. And it's just I'm not touching that spread. I hate to say it. If it's above 10, I'm not touching it at this point in time.
Look, I mean, I got Purdue. As much as I don't like Purdue, I think that Purdue is the best team in the country. I think if it was, and I'm just going to compare it this way, I think if it was Duke, Kentucky, that was 22-1, I think we'd have a lot different tone when it came to Purdue. Okay, I think we have a lot different tone. I think if a player like Zach Edey played on any other team but Purdue, I think we'd also have a lot different tone. So I get that. I get the bigs. I am a supporter of bigs don't do well in the NCAA tournament, but I'm also gonna give them the respect they deserve, being 22-1, probably playing in the second best conference, maybe the best conference in the country. And so I do. I'd say it's probably second best. All right.
They have one other top 10, top 25 team. They have one. They have one other top 25 team.
That's good competition.
It's good competition. Aaron's right.
They're killing each other. Like they're literally beating each other in conference play.
So we're gonna argue that for them, but we're not gonna argue that for the Big 12. Okay.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that's what Big Ten's doing.
Here you go, Pimp. You want me to tell you who the strength of schedule rankings are based on this? Kansas, Oklahoma, Baylor, West Virginia, Seton Hall, Xavier, Alabama, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State. Wisconsin's the first one. There are literally 4 Big 12 teams in front of the.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that Big Ten.
Strength of schedule. I'm just saying, like the Big 12 is hands down the best conference. And
right.
I would honestly probably put the SEC second.
I got to step away for a second. You guys talk about the games on Saturday. Start out with Kansas at Iowa State. That'd be a good Big 12 game. Go ahead and talk about it, guys. I got to step away for a second. Sorry.
All right, we got Kansas at Iowa State. I'll let you guys start with this one.
No, you're the Kansas fan. Come on, hype us up.
I'm telling you, I'll go last.
No, go ahead. Hype us up. You'll probably say everything that we're gonna say.
If I put the line on this one, in all honesty, I'd put it at even, because I think this might be at Iowa State. I think Kansas it's pretty much even, if not maybe a 1.5 favorite. I mean, the Iowa State's no joke. Were they the ones that beat them earlier? No. Who beat?
Who? Tennessee beat.
Yeah, they're the ones that beat Kansas earlier at home. That's like the first loss at home for Kansas in a while. But which props to them. I think you're going to see the Jayhawks coming into this one a little bit more.
Well, Kansas beat Iowa State this year.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. They won by 2. You're right. I'm sorry. I was looking at Iowa State's look. Yeah, they beat them by 2 at home. I think this is about as even as you get. This. I mean, I don't know. The guard, his name's Kalsher. He can play. Kid can play, and Jaron Holmes is obviously their go-to. Those two just great guard play out of this team, and they have a big guy that can run it in Sunni. But I think this is about as even as you get game wise.
Yeah, if if Iowa State is plus money anything, money line, I'm going to hit it. I talked about it, going down the stretch, these big rivalry games late in the conference season, I love home teams. And there's nothing more that I love than an 11 a.m. start, 10 a.m. for them, I think. Well, Iowa, no, that'd be 11 a.m. On a Saturday against another really good program, just pure college basketball at its finest. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be waking up at about 10 a.m. and then watching this at 11 a.m. That Kalsher guy, he was the one who led all scorers in their loss against Kansas a month ago. He had 23 points. So expect another big game out of him, and just a lot of talent here. So it should be a good one.
Yeah, I think the winner of this wins the Big 12. I think that these are two. I think Kansas will get a. I'm going to say Kansas gets a 3 seed and Iowa State gets a 4. But if Iowa State beats Kansas, I think that's going to flip flop in the March Madness seedings. I'm going to say Iowa State. I'm going to take Iowa State plus money when it comes out, and I think Iowa State being at home, both teams are struggling a little bit. I think Iowa State's lost their last 2. Is that right? Against Missouri, at Missouri, and Texas Tech at Texas Tech. So
it is important to know those were on the road and they are still unbeaten at home.
Yeah. So they're going to come home fired up, trying to not make it a losing streak with 3. And I think they pull it off. So I'm definitely going to take plus money. And if the money lines get looking good, I might sprinkle some on that too.
Can I ask you a question, Pep?
Yeah.
So you think the best Big 12 team will get a 3 seed in the tournament?
Well,
so that's basically what you just said.
I think some of them
or maybe
will have to
TCU.
get a 2.
One of them has to be a 2.
Okay, so yeah, scratch what I said. The winner of the Big 12 will get a 2 seed, yes, and then the loser will get a 3 seed. So if Iowa State wins, I think if you're looking at their schedule, they still have a very tough schedule.
I know. Yeah,
that might not be completely honest, because like West Virginia is still a tough team at West Virginia, Oklahoma State, TCU, Kansas State, Texas, Oklahoma, West Virginia again. Like that is tough. So scratch what I said. You never know what happens down the stretch.
No, I agree. Sorry guys, I had to step away, but I think Iowa State, if it's at all, if it's underdog, I'm going ahead and probably hammering that Iowa State. At home, unbeaten at home, like Fisher said. I think it'll be around a pick 'em, to be honest with you. But I think Iowa State is an underrated team, if you could say that. Probably just a lot of people probably don't watch them. But I think Iowa State is one of the better teams in the country. But I think they're right. I think Iowa State's right up there, TCU, and right up there with Kansas, and we'll find that out on a Saturday. And so, in another game I want to talk about, and it's not ranked teams, and it's not any ranked teams, but it'll be a good game. Rutgers at home against Michigan State. Big Ten game. Just want to talk about it just real briefly here. Rutgers on a roll here. Michigan State just playing the grind of a Tom Izzo team, and Tom Izzo and a Big Ten schedule. I think Rutgers wins this game, though. To be honest with you, I think they cover the spread, whatever they are. I think they'll probably be about 1 to 2.5 favorites here. At home, I do think that Rutgers will cover the spread and will win this game, and will win the first round matchup in the NCAA tournament. I think they're a pretty good team. Garrett,
this is. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I will take the underdog with the money in this one. I think that just like the last game, I think this is about as even as you get. The guard play for Michigan State is awesome. I love watching Tyson Walker, AJ Hoggard, and then Joey Hauser. I managed to shoot slides out. Rutgers are more of a gritty group, obviously. You have your Clifford whatever his last name is. I mean, he's good. It's just more of a center. They have okay guards with Cam Spencer and Caleb McDonald, but I think Michigan State has a better guard play in this one. So it's just going to be pretty much who gets who. You know, what I mean, what kind of game what kind of game is what's going to dictate the winner of this game, if you ask me.
Fish.
I've got nothing on the game, but let's go back to the Big Ten last year. They were very disappointing in the tournament. And now this year, they're kind of flying under the radar on this podcast too, which is fine because there have been so many inconsistent teams, but we've seen flashes of greatness from, Illinois had some great wins. Indiana, we know Michigan can get hot. So there can be quite a few 7 or 10 seeds from the Big Ten in this tournament that could win 2 or 3 games. I wouldn't be surprised. So maybe this is the year they, when they're finally under the radar, a few of these teams turn it on.
I agree.
Well, I just want to add a point to Fisher. This is for Aaron and Tyler because me and Fisher discussed this. When's the last year that the Big Ten won the NCAA tournament?
Don't tell me. Let me think.
You're not going to guess it.
Is it Kaminsky? No, Kaminsky didn't win. He went championship game.
That was the last time a Big
Michigan State. 2000.
Illinois.
Michigan
Illinois made the final, but
they lost
to
in
Arizona.
05.
Michigan State in 2000. We're all hype about this. Yeah, I mean, this Big Ten has not won in over 20
and Kaminsky,
years.
Kaminsky is the last time they've won a Final Four game.
I would say
And that's been a few
probably
years.
the best
7
flash
years.
in the pan. I get that team beat the Wisconsin team beat undefeated Kentucky, but that Illinois team, that was a pretty salty team, but they ended up losing Arizona, but really good team. Illinois had.
Darren Williams?
Huh?
Nope.
Was that Darren Williams?
D Brown.
Yeah, D Brown.
Brown.
Anyway, next game we can get to here. Fisher, this is your team. Tennessee at home against Auburn Tigers. One thing I want to touch on this game is that I think I'm just going to be honest with you. I think Tennessee boat races them, and I'm going to tell you that right now. I think Tennessee runs them out of the gym in Knoxville. I think Tennessee, Rick Barnes gets this team fired up. Let me tell you something. I gave a fist bump to Rick Barnes one time, and I could feel his energy coming through. All right, and Rick Barnes is going to get this team fired up and ready to go. All right, so Tennessee minus 20. I don't care.
Whoa! Rocky Top.
That's not how it goes, but okay.
Rocky Top.
Hey, this is a probably a what do you think this line's gonna be at? 6 points?
I got it.
Yeah.
I would say
I'd say 5.5.
I would say this. If it is under 6.5, I will take it. But if it's 6.5, I don't touch it.
Well, I mean, Tyler's right. Rick's gonna have him ready to go. I mean, that was a ugly loss against Florida, but Tennessee doesn't usually lose at home, and now here they are back in Knoxville. And Bruce Pearl, former Vols coach, he's still at Auburn. He's got them rolling. So this is a big game. There's going to be a lot of energy. 2 ranked teams, and yeah, I really like the Vols in this spot. I think they're going to shut Auburn's offense down. We talked about KD Johnson. He got really hot for the Tigers last year. So he's to be one of their main guys, but I like the Vols here. So let's guess minus 6.5. Give me the Vols.
You got 2 high school teams here, 73.4, 73.5 for Tennessee and Auburn. That's pretty high scoring, right, for college ball, 73?
Not bad.
73.
high.
But you look at Auburn's schedule, and they've played 1 ranked team. 1. And they're 17-5. Tennessee's had a pretty tough schedule so far, and they lose 1 game. And if the line's at minus 6.5, they're crapping on Tennessee. I think it needs to be higher than that. At Tennessee, off a loss, I think, like you guys said, Rick Barnes gets them fired up, and they might win by 15. I'm going to take alternate spread, minus 15.5, Tennessee. And we're going to the game, boots on the ground.
Go.
Wow.
I'll go right
Okay.
now.
I think Tennessee wins this game. I think it's going to be around that 6.5. And if it comes at -4.5, that's an automatic hit for me. -6.5, I think it's gonna be pretty close to that. So that would be a little bit of my -6.5,
I
-7.5
think
would probably be my
I
line.
think the rule of thumb is you need to get on it like on Friday night or early Saturday morning when
Yep.
they come out, because I think this line, I think people are going to expect them to bounce back. I think it's going to go way high. I think it might start out at 3.5 and end up at like 8 or 9.5.
I'll tell you one thing that also factors into this. Auburn just beat Georgia. We know Georgia's not that good. Any team that's coming off of a bad loss like Tennessee, and we know how good they are, going up against a team that we don't think is obviously as talented with this Auburn team, and Auburn coming off a pretty easy win at Georgia. I love this. I just think it could end up being a slaughter. I mean, I might throw money on -15.5 for Tennessee just to throw a dollar on it for the odds because I love the odds, but that would just be for the odds. But I don't know. I would say Tennessee wins this one by at least 5.5.
Here's a pro tip real quick. Tennessee is going to get ice cold at some point in this game. If they get ice cold in the first 10 minutes
Bet a money line.
and they find themselves down 4, down 6, or even more, yeah, hit the spread, hit money line.
Yep.
They'll start heating up. They don't have a ton of talent, but I mean they will remain solid on defense all game. And this is just such a, if you combined Tennessee's football offense with Tennessee's basketball defense, they would not lose. But unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Give me the guy from Argentina or Uruguay lefty over threes if you can do that.
Vescovi, yeah.
He's lights out, smooth stroke. All right, next game, going to ACC. Miami at Clemson. I'm gonna say something about this game, and I'm gonna say something about what I think about Clemson. Me and Aaron were talking about this the other night. Mount Vernon High School basketball game. Go Rams. Clemson is underrated to me at 20. I understand they're 18-5. I understand the overall record, but they're first in the ACC, and they have. I think they're a better team than 20. And I also think that Virginia is second in the ACC and they're number 6. I don't think they should be a top 10 team, but I think they should be higher than 20. I think they should be in the 10 to 15 range. And I also think that Clemson takes care of business here, stays atop the ACC, and kind of solidify themselves into a March Madness spot, even if they don't win the ACC tournament.
I fully agree with you on this. I'm taking Clemson. I honestly wouldn't surprise me if they came into this game as only 2.5 point favorites, because I think a lot of people are high on Miami right now.
Favorites.
What?
I don't even know if they'll come in favorites, because
if they don't come in favorites, I will definitely be taking the money line.
I mean, Miami scores a lot, and I mean, Clemson's defense is good. I don't even know. I mean, it'll be like a pick 'em, I think. I don't even know if it'll be like 2.5, 3.5. I think it'll be almost a pick 'em.
Yeah, I think Clemson beats them by. I think it's going to come down to free throws at the end, but it wouldn't surprise me. I would probably take Clemson up to -4.5 in this one. I just think that they're by far the most complete team. I think PJ Hall is going to have himself a day. Let me just tell you, I think he's going to have himself a day.
Yeah, complete. I mean, that's a great description of it. I think Clemson's got maybe one of the more complete teams in the whole conference, more complete than Miami. You look at Miami's last, I think 8 or 9 games, it's been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. They're kind of going back and forth. Their last game was a win at Virginia Tech, but that required a huge comeback. And what was that guy's name? Nigel Pack. He led the team. He only had 17 points, but they all came in the last 7 minutes. And he just got ungodly hot from 3-point range. That stuff usually doesn't happen. Could have been a fluke. So I think more times than not, Clemson's going to win this game. Not sure what the spread's going to be at, but that's what I'm going to have to lean towards.
Also, a factor in this is the Canes are 4-4 on the road. They're 500 on the road. I think that's where they've really lost all their games except one. So I think them being on the road in this one's kind of huge too.
I concur.
All right. Going to the Big Ten. Unappreciated conference. Purdue at Bloomington, Indiana. Can I tell you something right now, boys? I'm feeling a classic Matt Painter loss here. Give me Indiana money line.
I love it. I love
They got the bigs. I think they got the bigs to hang around with Edie. They got the shooters. Purdue's shooters are inconsistent. Indiana's lights out. A pretty good shooting team. Give me Indiana at home. It's going to be rocking. I might be boots on the ground for this game.
We're going from Knoxville to Bloomington.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a day!
Trace Jackson Davis is going to drop. I would say 25, maybe 30 in this game because he comes in and he shows up for big games. And it wouldn't surprise me if he walked out of there with 30.
Give me Miller.
30 and 15.
Miller Kopp, whatever his name is.
Miller Kopp.
Give it to me. Over 3.
Yeah, it's Avery Johnson, Miller Kopp, Jalen Hood, Shafano. Oh, man, I mean, I like watching this Indiana team. You have Race Thompson, which I think he's been coming off the bench a little bit here lately. He might be one of the best guys off the bench, and Trey Galloway can play. Like this team can go 8 deep, which is kind of what you have to do against this Purdue team and not really lose all that much as long as Trace Jackson Davis is on the floor.
I love this matchup for Indiana. You got a veteran NBA coach, Mike Woodson, running the helm, and he knows exactly how to exploit bigs in the NBA. Spread them out, run a pick and roll. They're not going to be able to catch up to Jackson Davis. Indiana's a big team too. I mean, they started 6'9", 6'7", 6'8", 6'6". So they're a long team on defense. So they'll get those passing lanes to Edie. I think they spread the floor and attack them, man. They're going to have to pull them out. And that's exactly what Trace Jackson Davis does pretty good. I mean, he's a good high post, get the ball to, and he drives in and he's not afraid to yam on his head. So I think this is an awesome spot for Indiana. And I probably could take Indiana spread for this game.
I hate that we all agree with this because
This is bad.
I've been on this all
This is
week.
really bad.
I saw this game on the schedule and I circled it in Sharpie. I mean, this is a classic. You know, we talk about college basketball being our grassroots. Well, this is a grassroots college basketball rivalry right here. I mean, Midwest, kind of where it all started, right? Indiana, very historic program. And, you know, of course, Purdue in-state. And this is a great rivalry. And this is the first time in this rivalry's history that Purdue is coming in as the #1 seed in this game. And, you know, like you guys said, the matchups, I think, are there for Indiana. Mike Woodson's a great coach. And that Assembly Hall is going to be rocking in Bloomington. And so I really like the spread, whatever it is. And I really like money line here as well.
Love it. I love it. I don't love that we're all on it, but I love it.
That scared me a little bit.
Can I tell you something? I'm going to double down on it now.
You know what? I'm tripling down on
I'm
it.
quadrupling all 4
You know
of them.
what? I'm putting my whole count on it.
Okay. Better responsible here, buddy. All right. Texas at Kansas State.
I'm telling you this one. Give me Kansas State all day.
Chris Beard beats his wife, Kansas State.
Yes, that's all I gotta say. I hate to say it, and I actually kind of like this Texas team before. Like I like Marcus Carr, I like Timmy Allen, I like Tyrese Hunter, but I watched them a lot. But they play well. It's just this whole Chris Beard situation is tough, and having going against Keontae Johnson and Marquise Noel. Oh, I love Kansas State at home here.
Kansas State's gritty, man. They are gritty. I love the rebound story from Keontae Johnson coming from Florida after he had that health scare. So I think he's on a revenge tour, and I think he continues with the game. So I'll take Kansas State.
So I will be watching Kansas, Iowa State at 11, and then Tennessee, Auburn at 1, and 3 o'clock. I've got on my Google Calendar take a nap. So let's. I got nothing on this game. Oh, and also Purdue and Indiana plays at 3. So sorry, Garrett, but I'm watching the Big Ten.
Hey, I respect that. I go with the big man matchup. I always respect that one. Obviously, Trace Jackson Davis versus Saki is kind of must watch TV.
Hey,
I'm telling you,
other than Fisher.
if you haven't watched Kansas State, you gotta watch Kansas State basketball. They're fun to watch.
They are
Don't
fun.
watch. Don't know his name. Product out of East St. Louis. Had a 618 going to Kansas State. Don't know his name. Number 0.
Oh,
McCaleb Rich.
yeah,
Yep.
something like
He's
that.
back to full strength. Little side note, he's back to full strength. He got hurt in the Salem Invitational Tournament. The sit, he got hurt. Little ankle problem. Sat
He
him
was
out
the big
there.
guy, wasn't
Took care
No,
of
he's
it.
Afro.
He's back to 100%, and it's going to be a problem for the Mount Vernon Rams in that sectional if they make.
he? Was he the big guy or the guard?
He didn't
No,
play.
he didn't play.
Forward.
Oh, I know. No, he played. We saw him play the night before. though.
Yeah.
think I
That's the
He had
one that
afro.
he was the one that
He's
I
the one that
thought
got
was
hurt.
bringing down the rim.
Remember when he threw it up? He threw it off the backboard, and the guy behind him dunked it. And I think the guy behind him stepped on his ankle, and then he legitimately when we left, because we left like at half, like right before halftime, he was there on the bench like getting his ankle worked on.
No, that kid literally, I thought was going to tear down the backboard
Yeah.
that one dunk. Like that was the guy.
I
that
I was
just,
talking,
like,
guy, we're all totally off track here, but I was talking to somebody about this. Him going to Kansas State, he doesn't jump off the page to me like an EJ Liddell or a Jason Tatum or somebody like that. He does not jump off the page to me. I think they're beatable. I think the Rams can beat them. Guys, we're totally off track. We're going to the West Coast. Gonzaga at St. Mary's on Saturday. Late game, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Might not even be up for this game because I've watched so much in the afternoon. All right. So I like
Oh, we're gonna be up.
you know what? We're boots on the ground there too. We're going over there from Bloomington. All right.
That's right.
But I like St.
Wait,
Mary's in this game. I hate Gonzaga. Any Gonzaga game that I can, I'll take the opposite team. I'll bet Santa Clara today if I remember to, because I absolutely hate Gonzaga. I hate Drew Timme. I hate them all. Okay. Mark Drew's a drunk. Quit getting DUIs. And Drew Timme, I hate the mustache. Shave it off. You look like a little pedophile. Quit talking. I'm not even gonna say it. Just be quiet. Play the game. And it's St. Mary's all the way.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. This might be the first time in obviously my sports betting time, but that I can remember in the past, obviously 8 years, or St. Mary's is projected to win the West Coast Conference, and it's not going to be Gonzaga. It's crazy. I mean, it's pretty much between St. Mary's and Gonzaga, obviously, but I think St. Mary's wins this one. And obviously, since we're on this topic of West Coast Conference, this is a Fisher
Aaron,
contest.
what's going on? I need a live reaction from Aaron right now. What's going on?
Nothing.
No, what's going on, Aaron?
FAU is the most overrated team in the rankings. Like, what is
Oh,
going
I'm sorry.
on?
Sorry.
Dude, hey, what I tell you in the old group chat today, it was always Jelly Walker, and I love me some jelly. dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Never
I'm
bet
not mad at them
against
losing.
Swelly.
I put money on UAB. Like, what were they? Plus what? Plus
I got -0.5. I mean, they're
It's
a
up
favorite.
one.
It was over.
+1? Yeah, I should have done alternate spread. I'm mad at myself. They're up 14 right now.
Sorry,
I just want to shout out a team, the Loyola Marymount Lions, and Fisher can attest to this. I called that night that Loyola Marymount
BYU.
was-
Did they win?
BYU.
No, I don't know. I don't know. They're playing BYU tonight, but they're the ones that knocked off Gonzaga.
Oh,
Remember the other
okay.
the
I
other
thought they
night
won
whenever
that.
I was like, "Hey, listen, don't be surprised if Loyola Marymount shocks Gonzaga tonight," and sure enough, they did. And that Loyola Marymount team could play.
Well, I get you guys have some personal feelings towards Gonzaga. Maybe they lost you money in the tournament beforehand. Maybe you just hate Drew Timme and how he looks. I don't know. I think he's a great college villain, but I think Gonzaga is going to start. I think they're undervalued right now. I really think they are. And I think you look at their game tonight against Santa Clara, Thursday night, the line's at 14. I'll probably take that for Gonzaga, and I'll probably take whatever they are against St. Mary's on Saturday. I still think this is a very well coached team, and the talent's there. And they took some bad losses early on in the season, but this is a team that I think is going to win their conference like they usually do, and they'll probably win a few more games in March.
I hate Gonzaga. It's the last note on the podcast. Any other things we need to talk about regarding college basketball?
We want to say our picks, if we have any picks for tomorrow.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if anyone else does.
I don't.
Okay, well, I guess I can get into mine. Let me find it. Brown at Dartmouth. Dartmouth sucks. Just take Brown -1.5. That's a lock. Nothing else really sticking out whenever I was scrolling through earlier. I do like the Siena -5.5 at Manhattan, but I'd have to look more into that, see, make sure everybody's playing. But other than that, kind of a weird slate tomorrow. I might hit Kent State on the money line at +104. That team can play.
I like
But I don't know what continent Brown University is even on, but my play of the day is going to the NBA, a guy who makes a lot of double doubles. Think about big men, usually double machines. No, we're talking guards. Trae Young
Josh Giddey.
Trae Young, no.
Oh.
The Thunder don't play tomorrow.
Okay.
Trae Young -130, I think is great value. He's doubled in all the last 5 games. So look for him to do it again tomorrow night. That's my best bet.
Give me Iona -15 tomorrow. Rick Pitino.
No, Rick Pitino
Flick Rick.
is an old bag.
Rick Pitino driving the bus.
He's an old saggy bag.
He's got
Rick
let me tell you something,
Pitino
he's
would-
driving the bus. He's got strippers in the back. He's ready to rip. All right.
Yeah, he does.
Rick Pitino would outcoach you with 2-year-olds, Pimp. Come on now.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just saying he's an old bag.
Saying Iona
He'd
-15.
still outcoach you.
Hey, Iona's -15. The money's in the crumbs. And let me tell you something. He leaves them on the floor when he eats some crackers. I can tell you that right now.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
Is that a reference to something or?
He's just old. He's old and shaky.
Oh,
Okay.
Old people eat crackers. I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Let me write that joke down. Can you say it again?
So I'm gonna change it up.
Okay.
He leaves crumbs when he eats some ginger snaps.
Okay. Leaves crumbs when he eats ginger snaps.
Yeah. He's just
Okay.
old and shaky. All right. But I like it. He's driving the bus. I like it a lot. Guys, anything else regarding college basketball?
We're locked in, baby.
We're locked in. Season 2. Season 2 is better than season 1. No sophomore slump for us. We're getting better. We're getting better every day. Boys, be sure to always bet responsibly. We'll see you guys next time.